Hello and welcome to the session on fundamentals of multimedia. Today we shall discuss language of visuals, shooting techniques. We have often seen situations where one person says something and the other totally misunderstands it simply because the latter does not understand the language. In video production, our job is to communicate in a manner that everybody understands what we are trying to say. Through sound and through pictures, what we intend is for them to understand. So, before going to produce a video, it is necessary to understand how human beings perceive what they see and hear, as also the need to master the art of representing objects and events aesthetically. This means a clear comprehension of the process of human perception and aesthetic composition of pictures is necessary. We need to be both a psychologist and an artist. The shot. In motion picture photography, the basic unit of expression is the shot, or the single continuous take of material that is recorded each time the camera is turned on until it is turned off. The basic unit of a shot is a frame. Earlier, a film roll was used to shoot still pictures. It had about 36 frames or segments on each of which we could capture an image. Each segment was a frame. A series of frames together constituted a shot. While a frame is the basic unit of a shot, both video and film have shots as their basic unit. It should be remembered that they are not just a series of images, but have been arranged deliberately to convey some information or some meaning. The director talks to his audience through a series of shots. It would be helpful if we draw an analogy. Compare a film to a book. Sentences have words. Let us assume that each word is a frame. A series of words, that is frames, form a sentence or shot. A series of sentences or shots form a paragraph or scene. A series of paragraphs or scenes form a chapter or a sequence. A number of chapters or sequences constitute the book or the film. Therefore, a director uses the right shots like sentences in a book to tell a story effectively. The director then uses other elements like lighting, sound, graphics, and editing to create a complete film. When we compare it with a book, these are like parts of grammar. What the director intends to include or exclude and how images change in relation to each other depends on what is intended to be seen and understood by the viewer. The various shot sizes and the manner in which these shots are composed provide the director unlimited possibilities to tell a story through the video, a powerful medium. Fundamentally, a shot should fulfill the following purposes. 1. Highlight or emphasize the major subject. 2. Present a purposeful variation in its size. 3. Add more information. 4. Favor the appearance of the performer. And 5. Establish the relationship between the elements in a frame. Now, let us take up the sequence. Shots are the building blocks from which the editor builds a reconstruction or representative composite of the event. A number of shots related to each other to convey a single message are combined to form the sequence. Action flows across the edits from one shot to another to create an illusion that viewers are watching a continuous, uninterrupted event. The flow should be smooth, logical, and not confusing to the viewer. Sequences actually help a viewer feel he or she has experienced an event. Setting up a shot. 7 primary factors decide the setting up of a shot. Each one of the following factors or a combination of them has an effect on the frame. To start with, camera angle. It refers to the positioning of camera in relation to the subject. Camera angle provides a perspective to an image. The position of the camera can alter the appearance of the image dramatically. And lens angle. The lens angle allows including or excluding information from within a frame. It can provide varying sizes of objects, magnified or minimized. Now, camera distance. The actual distance of the lens from the object is capable of contributing to differences in compositions. Different camera distances provide different perspectives of an objective. Camera height. Change in the height of the camera alters the relationship between the foreground and the background. A low camera height emphasizes the foreground and eliminates the background to a large extent. A high camera position allows the showing of position relationship over a wide area. A low position of camera allows the subject to dominate. When the camera is at height, it seems to subdue a subject and project as helpless in a shot. Camera movement. The physical movement of camera in a variety of ways can serve both aesthetic and functional objectives. Frame. The television screen is bound by a frame and so is the video. The rectangular space available to the director within which he frames objects is called the field of view. It is this field of view which determines whether a shot should be close or long. Depth of field. Adding picture to the two-dimensional flat image on the screen is crucial to lending the picture certain credibility. This is what filmmaking is all about, presenting pictures as realistically as possible. The major factors which influence the depth of field in a frame are the choice of the lens, the positioning of objects, light and color. Classification of shots. The film and TV use different kinds of shots. Shots are classified based on content as well as on camera height, camera movement and usage. Shots classified by content. Shot sizes depend on the camera angle, field of view and the camera distance. By physically altering the camera position or the lens, we can achieve 7 different shot sizes. Considering an individual as content within a frame, the 7 basic shots are shown here. Extreme close-up or ECU. The ECU gets right in and shows extreme detail. It captures from mid-forehead to just above the chin or even closer. This is particularly used to give an intrinsic detail about the character. Used to show details up close, as details are magnified to a very large extent and to emphasize facial expressions or to make the subject appear threatening. Close-up or CU. A certain feature or part of the subject takes up the whole frame. Focus just above the head to the upper chest. Cuts just below the necktie knot. Purpose. It contains just one character's face. This enables viewers to understand the actor's emotions and also allows them to feel empathy for the character. Details are magnified. Medium close-up or MCU. Halfway between a mid-shot and a close-up. Focus. The typical passport size photograph. Cuts the body at the lower chest just below the armpit. Purpose. Used to show reactions and indicate what the subject is feeling. No more details are available except of the face. Medium shot or MS. It shows some part of the subject in more detail while still giving an impression of the whole subject. Focus. From the waist to the head, it cuts the body just above or below the waist. Purpose. Helps viewers easily recognize the subjects and also see what they are doing with their hands. Medium long shot or MLS. The subject takes just more than the half frame, cuts just below the knees. Focus. Here the focus is from head to below the knees or just above the ankle. Purpose. Medium shot is used to clearly show body gestures, especially the arms. Long shot or LS. The subject takes up the full frame or at least as much as is comfortably possible. Focus. Head to toe shot. Shows the entire body and a very short distance above and below. Purpose. Contains a complete view of the characters. It is used to establish the location and enable viewers to follow the action within the frame. The subject can be seen in full. Extreme long shot or ELS contains a large amount of background. Focus has the background dominating the individual. Purpose often used at the beginning of a film or sequence as an establishing shot to show where the action is taking place. It is also used to make a figure appear small or isolated in the landscape. It enables viewers to follow wider movements. It is also used to establish relative positions of subjects. Besides the basic shots classified by content, there are three other classifications of shots. A. Shots classified by camera height. B. Shots classified by camera movement. And C. Shots classified by usage. Now, shots classified by camera height. The level at which a shot has been set up has an influence on the emotional impact of the viewer. There are three possible positions of the camera: eye level, low level and top level. The 7 shots discussed earlier are eye level shots. When the camera is at eye level, the gaze of the person within the frame meets that of the audience. Low level or low angle and high level or high angle shots each create a different meaning and a specific effect. Low angle shot. A low angle is a camera angle that looks up at a character and makes a character look more powerful. Villains in a film are, therefore, mostly shot in low angle when shown for the first time. High angle shot. A high angle is a camera angle that looks down upon a subject. This is used to present the character in vulnerable or small or feeble sense. A laborer or woman being exploited is normally filmed using the top angle. Now, let us come to shots classified by camera movement. A camera move is usually prompted either to add visual appeal and interest, to increase tension or excitement, to provide new viewpoint or subject of interest, etc. Camera movement should be motivated by the action in the film or video and controlled in speed and timing. There are two basic camera movements, the pan and the tilt. Pan. A pan is a horizontal movement of the camera from left to right or vice versa. The pan is often used to give visual variety among a number of static shots. Usually, the main use of a pan, apart from keeping a moving object or subject in frame, is to show relationships. Tilt. Tilt is a vertical movement of the camera up or down while the camera mounting stays fixed. The tilt resembling the movement of our head up and down provides a view of the elements lying above and below the field of view. Apart from the pan and the tilt, there are some other camera movements: track in and track out, or dolly in and dolly out. It is a combined physical movement of the camera along with the pedestal. The camera and pedestal are mounted on a track and trolley that moves the camera either towards or away from the principal object. The perceptual change is similar to what we observe when we physically move toward or away from an object. Truck left and truck right, or crab left and crab right. It involves the lateral movement of the camera and the tripod mounted on a track and trolley. The camera moves sideways on its mount along with the subject. It is mainly used to follow the subject moving across the screen. It is also used to reveal the extent of a scene, section by section, and also a series of objects. Arc right and arc left. The angular movement of both the camera and the tripod mounted on a track and trolley is called an arc. It is meant to provide new viewpoints. Arcing serves to change the visual emphasis on the subject while the camera is in movement. Zoom in and zoom out. The camera and tripod are steady, but a combination of lenses in the camera head moves forward and backward in order to get closer or farther away from an object. It increases or decreases the depth of field. Pedestal up and pedestal down. When the camera mounted on a pedestal moves up and down, it helps to achieve top angle or low angle shots within a frame. Now, shots classified by usage. By usage, shots are classified as master shot, point of view shot or POV, over the shoulder shot or OTS, and cut-ins and cutaways. Master shot. It is normally the long shot in which the entire scene is played out. It is usually an objective shot, usually shot from the point of view of an imaginary viewer outside the scene. Point of view shot. Point of view is a shot filmed from the same position where the eyes of a character are present in the sequence. This shot generally depicts what the character is seeing. It is also called a subjective shot. Over the shoulder shot. It looks from behind a person at the subject. The OTS may usefully link two or more participants in a conversation. The camera looks at someone over the shoulder of the person nearest to the camera. This is also a subjective shot. Cut-ins and cutaways. Cut-ins and cutaways are related to the primary subject of action. They show something that may or may not have occurred simultaneously with the primary action. Both cut-ins and cutaways fill gaps between scenes where the action does not match. An example of a cut-in is a close-up of one player's foot as he kicks the ball. This close-up could have been shot at any time. However, by inserting the cut-in into the film during editing, the audience feels that the kick actually happened during the game. Cutaway shots are scenes that cut away from action. Crowds, cheering fans, cheerleaders, and sideline action are all examples of cutaway shots. The difference between cut-in and cutaway is simple. When filming the football game, the camera operator went in and took a close-up of the kicker's foot as he kicked the ball. The operator of the camera cut into the action. However, when the camera operator shoots a close-up of a fan's face, that is a cutaway, because it cut away from the primary action of the game. Cutaway shots represent secondary action. Cut-in shots represent primary action. Now let us have a look at the types of shots. It is important to be aware that the different shot sizes, when used in combination with different camera and lens movements, are capable of producing an altogether different impact. Simple shot. A simple shot has no lens movement, no physical movement of the camera, no physical movement of the camera's support, only a simple subject movement. Complex shot. A complex shot has lens movement, simple movement of the subject, but no movement of the camera mount. Developing shot. A developing shot has a lens movement, a camera movement, a camera mount movement, and a complicated subject movement. Composition or framing. There are many ways to compose a shot depending on your goals. Here are some of the composition concepts and techniques that one must ensure before framing a shot. Headroom. It is the space between the top of the subject's head and the top of the frame. Well-framed shot puts the subject's eyes about 1/3 of the way down the frame, leaving headroom of about 10% at the top of the frame. However, more headroom is okay for long shots and less or no headroom is okay for extreme close-ups. Nose room or lead room. It is a space in front of a person who is speaking towards one edge of the frame. For example, when the subject is conversing with someone seated beside him or her, he or she will be looking towards one edge of the frame instead of straight ahead to the camera. In this instance, framing should emphasize both the subject and the fact that there is someone or something of interest outside the frame. Put the subject off center and add some nose room or talking space in the side of the frame to which they are looking. Lead room is similar to nose room, but applies when the subject is moving towards one edge of the frame. Put the subject off center by adding some lead room in the side of the frame towards which they are moving. Balance and the rule of thirds. Most perfectly centered shots are static and boring. Balance is created by setting points of visual interest off against each other, thereby heightening the viewer's interest. Imagine the frame divided horizontally and vertically into thirds. If major points of interest are placed at the points where the lines intersect, the result is more pleasing to the eye than if a perfectly symmetrical arrangement were composed. Depth composition. A TV picture is two-dimensional, but the good selection and framing props in the foreground and background can lend a three-dimensional quality to the picture. The arrangement and blocking of talent can help create depth. Put those varying distances to the camera. Nothing is deadlier than a line of people all the same distance from the camera. A feeling of depth can also be achieved by placing cameras at an angle to the subject. Save title area. Every TV set will crop an image differently. In order that every viewer will be able to see the important information in your show, you should not put any vital information like titles or graphics near the edge of the screen, but within the inner 90% of the screen area or save title area. The 180-degree rule. The 180-degree rule states that in a scene, two characters should maintain the same right or left side relationship to each other. Connecting the two subjects, there is an invisible axis, and when the camera passes over, it is called crossing the line, and the shot becomes a reverse angle shot. Crossing the imaginary line that runs between the characters in a scene, as the person facing right will suddenly appear to be facing left, and hence away from his companion, and the observing camera will involve a sense of discontinuity. The camera is normally shifted even as the shot is recorded, or alternatively cut-ins and cutaways are used to avoid it. Usually, a possible cut-in could be a straight-on close-up of one of the persons in the frame. The following figure illustrates the imaginary line passing through two persons and the appropriate placement of cameras to get the right shots. The third camera position on the right is the wrong choice unless one chooses to use a cut-in or cutaway. Alternatively, the camera can jump 180 degrees if the shot is continuous without a cut. Short reverse shot sequence. It is a basic sequence in a classic narrative construction. For example, shots of two characters engaged in dialogue will favor first one and then the other. The camera will frame one person facing right and the other facing left. Edited together, this gives the illusion of two people facing each other and enables cutting back and forth between the characters that appear to be interacting. Now let us summarize. The visual medium has its own language, which is based on images. Being a different medium, psychological factors play an important role in visuals. There are several principles which exist that guide the composition and framing of images. Shot is the basic term in video production. Shots can be classified based on their size, usage, content, and camera angle. There are several shot types and composition techniques, and one needs to take primary decisions before shooting a video. Finally, it is the purpose of production that determines every other factor. Now, try to work out the given assignments. Prepare a chart describing various types of shots with pictures. Use a digital still camera and capture 10 different images using the rule of thirds. Record shots using the rule of thirds. Shoot from inanimate objects first, then move on to moving objects. Use a video camera. Ask students to model for you and frame the 7 basic shot sizes in different locations. Also, try a similar exercise with different buildings and objects. Frame at least 10 different persons with adequate headroom and nose room. Now, I can suggest some books and web links for further studies. Video Field Production and Editing 5th edition by J. Ronald Compessi, published by M.A. Allen and Bacon, Boston, 1999. Television Production 13th edition by Gerald, Millerson, published by Focal Press, Woburn, M.A., 1999. Single Camera Production 4th edition by B. Robert Musburger, published by Focal Press, Woburn, M.A. Non-Linear, A Guide to Digital Film and Video Editing 3rd edition by Michael Rubin, Triad Publishing Company, Gainesville, 1995. Television Production Handbook, 9th edition by Herbert, Zettle, Wadsworth Publishing Company, Belmont, CA, 2006. Here are some web links: www.mediacollege.com, www.mediaknowall.com, www.skwirk.com, www.empireonline.com. Hope this session was beneficial to you. See you in the next session. Until then, bye.